Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Spike Man here. For a while I've wanted to start doing Tekken 8 as a kind of semi-hobby professional thing on YouTube. And so I finally pulled the trigger and I've started to make some videos on the topic. We're starting off with Hachi Mishima here, which is my main and probably my favorite Mishima in Tekken 8. And I wanted to do a few videos showcasing some moves and techs which aren't high into public knowledge, but something that would be really good for you to be knowing if you are against Heihachi or if you are playing as Heihachi. Now, I start with my favorite move to be using in the neutral, especially if the enemy has whiff punished or if I wanted to see if they're going to respond correctly to this move, is down 1-2. Now, it is a relatively unremarkable move, going in at -9, so it's one of the only safe moves that Heihachi has that's also a mid, that also can chain into stands. But it really shines when you use it as a long-range whiff punisher around the 2.5 region. It's better than your back 1, which will whiff around the 2.6 region, and it can transition into stance at +13, which gives you one of the better mid-high mix-ups from Raiden's stance for Heihachi, giving you access to his 1 and 2 high guard break slash launcher move. You also get a couple other moves which you can use, such as your 3, or you can even chain into his hell sweep by doing down forward 4. I quite like this move, especially when it comes to closing out rounds, as it is quite effective in hitting opponents who might be more guarding for something like a low-high mix-up, which is fairly common for the rest of the cast, and is a behavior that will be quite easily passed throughout somebody's repertoire. So someone will easily be ducking those lows, which even Heihachi has some that can be thrown out quite laissez-faire, so like his down back 2 or his down back 3. He'll also probably be looking for something like his 1 jab or something high that he would use to close out the round. So your down 1-2 can be a really good round ender, especially if they got a bit of health left. You don't have to have them at 1 health, and if it lands, you get your stance mix up, which can be quite devastating in those quarter health to low health segments of the match. Now that's it for the conventional aspects of this move. As for the unconventional aspects of this move, it has some of the weirdest evasion in the game. Now, obviously, if they're not blocking, as was there, they would get hit by all of that. Great damage. But, if they're blocking, and they proceed to jab me out of my stance mix-up, pressing 1 will allow me to evade their jab and hit them, as I did there. Now, this is quite a mindfuck for a lot of people, especially at those higher ranks. And I usually pull this off, even at God of Destruction, especially around Supreme players that might be getting to those higher ranks for the first time with a character. So it's a really good thing to just keep in your arsenal to throw out, perhaps maybe in the starting rounds, to see if your opponent has the matchup knowledge. It also applies a lot of mental stack onto your opponent, which can be really good, especially if you want to maybe confuse them with your other stance transition moves, like forward 4, forward 3, and perhaps even your heat smash, all of which can be either minus or plus depending. Even still, your opponent could be blocking, and they might, because of the fact that you've hit them out of that jab situation, just refuse to punish you, which then allows you to do something more unsafe that shouldn't go through, like your guard break. Now, that's all fine and dandy, but for the people who are on the other side of this, don't worry, there's plenty of counters to this as well. I'm going to use Brian as an example, but Brian has a pretty good counter to this move, which is just his mid counter hit. So, if I'm doing anything stupid here, I'm trying to get that off, he's counter hit launched me. I'm up to the wall, 100 damage, I've basically halved my chances at winning the game. Now, anything other than this will work as well, such as your standard down forward 1s. I believe Dick Jab might work. And some of your Sabaki tools have worked on me in the past, although that might be for other tools such as your 3. In general though, if you have a counter hit launcher which is faster than 22 frames, which is around about the frame situation that you're getting with this move plus the -5 of going into stance when blocked, you should be great. So your back 1 from Brian, your 3+4, some of your hop kicks, all will work fine on this move. So don't feel intimidated. Just make sure that you are looking out for this tech, and hopefully it gets patched, because I do think that it's a bit strange to be on this character. Other than that, there's not really much to talk about besides. Obviously, if you're hit by this, you're gonna have to take the mix-up, whether it be that 1 input, which is hitting mid, or that 2 input, which guard breaks. Now, generally, whatever you do, do not stop blocking, as you might be opening yourself up to a launch from this move. Other than that, some of his options are safe, such as his 3 input. If you see his kick being landed on you from the top, don't retaliate after that. His 1 input is unsafe though, at -11, so do feel free to punish this. However, in Warrior Instinct, this does become safe. In general, just pick between standing or crouching. Make sure to tie that to however the Heihachi is doing things, especially if he's doing some low inputs a lot. Usually those guys will go for the high, especially if you're close to the wall. But if your Heihachi is more calculating, I would say try not to duck unless you're at the wall, because they're probably trying to hit you with a more damaging input, such as your mid 1 or that 3 input. Anyhow, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. This is the first video I've ever made on this channel, so I'd really appreciate it if you guys gave some feedback and such. Thank you, and goodbye.